Oh my God!
Oh
Just,
man,
it's a good thing I wear earbuds because otherwise my ears would be
I can't
bleeding.
hear anything.
So, welcome to episode 13, lucky number 13 of Prep Talk Live. I'm Casey with Cascadia Dispatch. With me, as always, is the Urban Prepper. What is up, Tough? How are things in your world?
Doing pretty good. Just working a lot and doing some family things and some doing some honeydews and things like
The
that. So
honeydews, yeah, the
you know,
honeydews. They're
those
always.
they're
It's
never
like
ending.
the prep list. It just never stops. It
Yeah, it
never
never
ends.
stops, and it's never good enough either. No.
No, it's always 90% good, but that 10% is very bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very,
so
very bad.
all in all, going pretty well, and trying to crank out some videos as I can in my utopia spare time. So
Exactly. You do way better at cranking out the videos. I am so glad that we have this thing because otherwise, my channel no one would have any idea what's happening on my channel. They would just be like,
I mean, it's hard.
"What
Like
happened to this guy?"
when you have like a full time job, it's hard. I mean, it's like 40 hours, probably 50 for most people, and it's like, and you're just exhausted afterwards. And let me crank out this video that a bunch of trolls are going to spam.
But I wonder this week if they will be Russian trolls or if they are like occupied with other things right now.
We always get a few of them. Yeah, we
other trolls.
Yeah,
trolls from other places.
But I always look forward to our talks because it's no matter how scary things might be in the world or the scary things we see in the news or even on YouTube, it's when we chat, it's we're always smiling, having a good time.
Exactly.
And smiling in the face of danger. So
it can't be that bad if we're having a good time, or we just are so oblivious.
We're just crazy.
Exactly. We're like, oh look, the rock is getting bigger and bigger as the asteroid careens towards us.
I see that Kaylin says I'm a troll. I troll for preps. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The one troll I like is Branch from the movie Trolls. He's an awesome prepper. So
he is.
He's one of the best. Probably one of the best in.
I'm sensing a theme that we should do. Maybe we'll do this next week. I don't know. Okay. But like like TV characters and movie characters
who are the best
preppers that are not obvious.
Well, I'll go. I mean, right off the bat, Branch from Trolls is a great prepper. That might be obvious. I think Batman has always been an inspiration for me, especially for
Batman's
amazing purposes. I mean, that's how he beats all the superheroes. It's not because he's the biggest or the strongest or fastest. It's because he preps.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm gonna say that dude from the movie Tremors. I don't know if you remember that movie. But, he had that bunker underneath his house, and he had some good preps down there. So
yeah, the bunker was fantastic.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
it was next level.
Yeah, there was the guy Ernest. Remember Ernest?
Like Ernest
goes to camp and stuff, and he always had things. I feel like Carrot Top's got to be. He makes all kinds of amazing tools and gadgets and things.
We need to get Carrot Top in the Ernest community somehow. So
I think so. He could be.
His DC videos would be next level.
He's been looking pretty jacked over the last few
years.
He could lead us in the prepper community.
We don't have a lot of jacked people. Canadian preppers, he's pretty good. It'd be fun to see like a celebrity death match, Carrot Top versus Canadian
prepper. I wonder now, would it be like a tag team affair? Would it be like all of a sudden he would tag out an American prepper would show up?
Yeah, if American prepper's there, it's game over. I mean, that's not even fair.
It's really not.
All American prepper versus Batman might be a good one.
Yeah, he looks like he's been working out.
Yeah.
Canadian prepper, he looks like he's been working out a little bit. It's the Canadian winter. Just lifting all those electric bikes, all the bougie bikes and everything. I think maybe that's what's been going on.
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget too, I think.
That is a really good one. I mean, his EDC was awesome. So
yeah, and I think now here's an obscure one that just popped into my head, and I have no idea why. Do you remember Heathcliff?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember in the Heathcliff theme they had like a whole like junkyard setup thing where he like dove in and came out like a rocket car?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, it was the 80s, so I mean it's been a while, but like I feel like that was a pretty cool little prepping idea, from an orange cat.
I love that we just dove right into this naturally. This is not so we didn't. This isn't in the agenda. We just went there. So I've been inspired by MacGyver too. Always.
But he's MacGyver and MacGyver.
but he's like totally DIY, like a survivalist type thing. So I think,
well, yeah, and he used a lot of duct tape. So
yeah.
just for everyone, a little behind the scenes. So 30 seconds before we hit the live button, Tup and I were both coming out of meetings and jumping on here.
Yeah.
We have literally this show is the most professional show with absolutely no preparation that goes into it. There's my 4 a.m. text to Tup. Hey, here's what I think we should talk about, with enough time to put it on a banner post to go out to connect everything. And then we show up and we're like, hey, we should meet earlier to talk more. Okay, let's go live. That's what we do.
Yeah, we're a prep show that doesn't prep for the show. Well, you always send me an early morning text, and hey,
exactly
I got going, and then usually I'm at either like hiding the phone because my wife who's texting at 6 a.m. or if it's a little later in the day, then I'm at work, probably in a meeting.
It's Jake from Steak Farm, and I'm wearing khakis. Thank you very much. I'm wearing khakis. So, all right. So also to everybody who's here, don't forget, please go ahead and smash the like button. It helps with the algorithm. It helps push it out. Lets YouTube know that that they should be letting other people know that we do this every week, every Wednesday, unless we change our minds. And then sometimes it's on Fridays at 5:30. Also, unless we change our minds. And sometimes it's at 5:15, and sometimes it's at 5:45, and sometimes, it's on Friday. So there you go. So let's talk about what we did this week. You want to kick us off with what you did this week? That was, you had a lot of honeydews. Were any of those prepping related?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We're kind of gearing up some of our garden areas for the upcoming season. So I'm waiting for my potatoes to arrive so I could start planting those and getting those, because I do container gardening for those.
Speaking of gardening, Sutton's Days has entered the chat.
Oh, Sutton's Days is awesome. She's every time I do pressure canning, every time I do pressure canning and do the ugly chicken, I always think of Sutton's Days, because she's was inspiration for a lot of those things. And it is an awesome prepper and so knowledgeable. And then also, like, just in live streams, she's like, I don't know how she does it. Because we do live streams a lot. It's hard to keep track of all the chats and everything. And she's just like super pro at it, because I guess she's been doing it for every week for several years now. So she's just
I became a fan of Sutton's Days in kind of a tangential way before I knew you two knew each other. I knew Sutton's Days because I got on this homesteading YouTube circle with I'm trying to think of all the names of all of the things, but Justin Rhodes, and there's like a farm up in like New Hampshire-ish area, and a couple in Ohio and stuff, and they all like hang out together. And Sutton's Days, Appalachia Homestead Festival, Sutton's Days can help me out on some of this, because I haven't watched a bunch of them, because now I'm into all of our prepping world and all of that sort of stuff. But Sutton's Days was always in that mix. And so then when she was on, when the Candelorian showed up on your thing, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know Sutton's Days.
Yep. The Candelorian, that's a brilliant idea on that one. And last time I talked to Sutton's Days, I think I had to apologize to her because I butt dialed her through like TikTok or something like that, because I fall asleep with my phone sometimes, and so then I wake up and I'm like watching some strange video or something like that, and I think I somehow sent some like political type video to Sutton's Days that I don't remember watching, so I have obviously was like something was playing and I tapped it or something, and so I had to. You
were watching a weird video at night, and butt dialed it to Sutton's Days.
I butt dialed Sutton's Days. I had to apologize for it, but
this is fantastic.
It wasn't on purpose. She never responded. I'm like, and then I'm looking at my phone history. I'm like, oh crap! I must have butt dialed this video or this shared a link, which I don't share, anything political. So I don't know how I got there, but it was probably at 3 a.m. and I was asleep. So
Cliff, when I first started watching your videos a long time ago, 7 years ago or so, or whatever, I thought so buttoned up, all the PDFs, all the everything, and now over the last little. With putting flashlights on my zipper last week and butt dialing Sutton's Days, I feel like we're really getting a whole different view of the true urban prepper.
Well, there's when we meet in person.
Urban prepper likes to party.
Yeah, I try to. I'm trying to be very careful with what I put on the internet because the internet's forever. But yeah, when we're in person, I have everyone put their phones in Faraday bags, and then we cut loose. So.
Okay, well that's fantastic. One of these days, I hope to be invited to one of those parties, and then I'll put my phone in a Faraday bag as well. Sutton's days, yes, homesteading and prepping definitely go hand in hand. That is very true.
I always feel like homesteading is the graduate program of once you get into prepping, then the goal is to get to homesteading. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So. Everyone wants to get there. As Cliff said in his video, they are prepper adjacent.
Yeah,
prepper adjacent. So it sounds like you got the potatoes coming.
Yeah, I worked on some videos, which was nice. So
that's fantastic.
I finally
saw the tsunami one.
Yeah, that was fun to make. Although the kids have been making fun of me about it, but that's okay. No, I finally finished the pantry one because we've talked about it on this stream as far as like the color coordination for the different cans, and that's been working pretty well for me. So I finally finished that video that goes live, and then I'm working on the labeling system now for my the pressurized cans stuff that I'm doing for the canned meat. So I'm fine tuning that system too. So.
That is fantastic. I also decided, I think just now in my head, that what we also need to have is we need to have Rogue come on with Sutton's Days.
Yes.
And we need to see if we can can an ugly milk chicken.
Yeah, the coveted milk chickens.
Yeah, exactly. If we can find an ugly milk chicken that we can can, I think that would be important to figure out.
I see that Bernie from Bionic Madness is here too, which is great to see.
We got lots of people showing up. We got Bionic Madness is here. We got Renata's here. We got all kinds of people showing up. It's a party as usual. It's our Wednesday evening party. It's what we do.
Yeah,
what did
you do?
My week. Thank you for asking. I'd love to tell you. So last week I was talking about solar, and I was all excited that we were getting solar. And I think one of the important lessons in prepping and in life and everything is sometimes you can get a little ahead of yourself, and you need to know when to take a minute and just pump the brakes and go a different direction. And so last week we were getting solar. We were getting all the quotes on the roof and all that sort of stuff. Well, this week we got all the numbers back. And although initially it looked like it was going to be like financially a great thing to do, when all the numbers came in, it was not so much a great financial thing to do. So it got moved to our let's review this next year category of projects. We were able to get it pretty close, but I'm hoping that next year panels will maybe be a little more efficient. Some of those things will happen, and so we'll be able to get a little more juice out of it to kind of push it over the edge. But I think it's important sometimes when you think you got a plan, sometimes you just got to take a hard right or pump the brakes because it just isn't a great thing. And when I came on and talking about how excited I was about it, and we had a whole conversation about it, I think it was also important to come on and say, yeah, it didn't really work out.
Yeah. I was surprised to see that on the agenda. So I think we should have just a regular solar update from you.
Yeah, exactly. Just how much, because I want to go solar. I love the idea of it so much. I feel like it's kind of like a while back, I really wanted to get a 4Runner as kind of my car. I'd had sedans for a while. And then when it was prepping and everything, I really loved the capability of the 4Runner. But I just couldn't justify going out and buying one. And so then finally, like my job changed a little bit and our business structure changed a little bit. And all of a sudden, like, oh, I can actually make this make sense. And so it was kind of one of those things I put in the universe and the puzzle pieces came together. I am hoping that solar will be similar because I would really like to do it, but it just doesn't, as much as I want it to work, it just still doesn't work out math-wise yet. So we're going to put that on the back burner for now. So that was my big thing, trying to figure out when we're going to put a new roof on the house, and then also that we're not doing solar panels.
Okay.
So so there you go.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, Urban Prepper says the highly coveted milk chickens, they are very tough to find.
Yeah, they are.
He is 100% correct.
Yeah.
He's very,
it's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket for preppers.
Exactly. All right, so it's the preps for me. It's show and tell time.
Yep.
You want to go first? What'd you bring?
I went big on the last one, so I don't know if do you want to go first on this one?
Oh, sure. I'll go on this one.
I brought last time I brought the fire hydrant key. So
yeah, exactly. You had you needed like a whole team to bring it in. It was a whole, and I will say, of course, afterwards I went to Amazon to go look and see how much those things were.
Someone said in the chat room said that was the ultimate prepper flex was the show fire hydrant key.
That really was. That was over the top. That was fantastic.
Sorry about that.
So my show and tell is, so I think a lot of us in the prepping community are familiar with these Write in the Rain notebooks. I think these come with the Mylar blankets and the orange whistles when you decide that you want to become a prepper. Like there's a little mail package that comes and it's got the orange whistle and it's got the Mylar blanket and the Write in the Rain and the space pen. Yep. Once you've got those three, then you're all set. So these are really great for anyone who doesn't know what they are. They're little notebooks that have special paper and you can write on them and then the ink doesn't run if it gets wet. So if you're in the rain or like in Oregon, we get rained on all the time. These are great to write notes on and things. So my show and tell item, however, are these. So these are extreme Post-it notes.
Extreme Post-it notes.
Extreme Post-it notes. So these are also relatively inexpensive. I think you can get like an individual package for like $3 on Amazon, or you can get this cube that has a bunch of the pads in it for
How are they
like
extreme?
$15. They are so extreme. So here's why they're extreme. So they are designed to stick a little bit more strongly than a standard Post-it note to things that are not normally like smooth. So you can put these on metal, on brick, on wood. So they would be what you could put outdoors. So if you needed, for example, in some sort of an emergency situation, you didn't have a smooth wall or something, you're outside and you're trying to keep track of stuff or whatever, you could use these almost kind of like duct tape. They're not as strong as duct tape, so let's not get that confused. But they are much stronger than a standard Post-it note. So you could put these on a phone pole, you could put them on a wall, you could put them whatever, and they have a water-resistant coating, so they act like a Write in the Rain notepad, but with the capability of a Post-it note. So it's kind of like the Write in the Rain and the Post-it note went to one of your key parties with your special flashlights and all that sort of stuff, and they made these extreme Post-it notes. So
that's awesome. I'm gonna go shopping right now.
That's my prep for today. Extreme Post-it notes.
So it's like the duct tape of Post-it notes.
It's the duct tape of the Post-it notes. Wow. I also, as I was going through it, I was like, oh, I should do this one. Oh, no, I got that from Tup's video. I should do this one. Oh, yeah, no, I got that from Tup's video.
And it looks like they're not that, it's not like they're that expensive either. It's like, I'm looking at $3 for.
Yeah, and they're not, I mean, they are not going to be like as strong as duct tape. So you're not going to be able to secure and lash things with them in a MacGyver-y sort of way, but they will work better than just a standard Post-it note, and they give you a little more flexibility, which, of course, the theme of tonight's conversation later is going to be on diversification. So, instead of using duct tape, you could use one of these, for example. So
that's awesome.
There you go.
I see that Kim's here. Welcome, Kim. Good to see you. I see Kim in the comment section of just about every video that I watched. Kim's an awesome YouTuber. The Titan Preparedness channel. I see Kaylin, our number one fan, Pony Girl, is there too. I saw. So
yeah, exactly. Meat Cat. I Bernie, what is this?
What's going on?
Yeah,
I don't want to meet any cats there.
Yeah, exactly. This is a whole thing.
And Stacey says she's a Post-it junkie, but never heard of these. Gotta go.
Yes,
some. So I put a link in the video. But my show and tell. So I was going to start off with the swing lines, the red swing line stapler, but I decided to go against that one for this one. Even though it was an inspiration of Office Space. So the prep that I was going to recommend for people, a lot of people probably have this. It's one of these presses, basically for your Mylar bags when you're doing your emergency food storage. So when I first did emergency food storage, I did two different methods, and both of them didn't work out as well for me. So I had an iron, and I had like a flat metal piece, like a leveler or something like that, and that's how I sealed my Mylar bags for the long-term food storage of like wheat and rice and all that. And so that didn't work out as well as I liked. And so then I stole, aka borrowed, my wife's flat iron thing, and she got so mad that I used this for a prepping project that I had to sleep on the couch for a couple of days. But after that, so then I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to get the real deal. So this is the real deal. I think it's made by a company, KF, whatever that stands for, but it has the nice it'll have the nice lines in it. So when you press it on, it's designed for Mylar bag, the long-term food storage Mylar bags. You have the lines in it just like you would have like for potato chips or anything else that you buy at the store. And this is definitely the way to go for it. So I was doing some Mylar. We've been trying to do more and more with the Mylar stuff for the food storage that we hope that we never have to use for emergency situations. So it wasn't cheap though. I forget how much it cost, but it's not like it's a $20 thing. I think I spent
$3,000.
Yeah, $3,000. It's made of
it's made of
gold and
gold.
palladium. It's a but
All right.
yeah. So anyway, that's my recommendation is the press for your Mylar bags for emergency food storage.
That is fantastic. I feel like I'm a little disappointed by the chat right now because they didn't ask these questions. So I'm going to ask these questions because I feel like they're important. Number one, how long did it take for the silver Mylar to come out of your wife's hair when she used the flat iron, not knowing that there was silver Mylar in it?
Yeah, she we didn't have that experience, but she just knew that I was using it for it, and yeah, she's very she don't like me using some of her stuff. So
and then the second thing is next year for Halloween, if we do like an 80s theme, will she use your Mylar sealer like a crimping iron and do like a perm?
Go 80s perm style.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty hot. I don't know much about hair though, so maybe, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, my luxurious locks. I always try to make sure that my flat iron stays in other people's hands because otherwise it would be very, very bad.
Rule number 1: don't tick off the spouse. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good
also
rule.
Apparently, if that's the case, Kim would like you to know that she would like the entire Tup family to be her Valentine. Apparently,
that's great.
I think that's
Valentine's
fantastic.
Day to Kim. So
yeah, exactly. That's wonderful.
Yeah, my wife doesn't. She's more tolerant of a lot of the prepping things, like because I do some crazy projects. Like she thinks it's a little weird, but on some things like the pantry stuff, I was actually walking downstairs because I was taking a break at work, and I heard her talking to my mom, and she was talking good stuff about the pantry organization, and I heard her, and I was like, oh, you liked it, but on other things, she's not a fan of. So.
Yeah, I think that that I think, and by the way, Pony Girl, thank you for noticing that I do ask the greatest questions, and also so humble am I. I feel like that's a key character trait that I have. I think we should do, and I've seen the Casual Prepper podcast. They've had their wives on a couple of times. I think we should maybe not necessarily bring our wives on. I don't know if they would want to. Maybe we do that down the road. But an episode on the things that our wives have kind of like, I think you and I probably were first movers in our families on the whole preparedness thing.
Yeah.
And at least in my family, like my wife was like, what are you doing? Like, I support you, but what are you doing? And then over time, she has become much more supportive and sometimes is even more into it than I am from time to time. So it'd be interesting to see kind of what were those moments, what were those things that helped bring them kind of into it that then other people, if they're new, could, utilize for their own spouses or partners or whatever.
Yeah, there's no way my wife would appear on camera. She forbids it. But but that would definitely be kind of fun conversation.
We could totally do the blurred faces and the voice changing.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking kind of like you're in the witness protection program where it's all like a silhouette, like a dark room.
And then we'll all of a sudden lose it and find out that it's just you and I with wigs on playing both parts. I think that could be fantastic.
Yeah, I was doing a stream or a show with the Think Preparedness, the boys over at Think Preparedness, and all of our kids kept showing up on as we're recording it. So then we thought we got the great because we realized that they're all around the same age. So we thought, well, okay, let's do a video with our kids in it, like and talk and see what they talk about prepping. So. It might be fun, but I think the wise one would be cool too.
Yeah. I think something along those lines. I think we can make that happen. Yes, Pony Girl. It would definitely be dangerous for both of us. I think Bernie mentioned that Mom would definitely be pissed, but we do it for the content. We do it for the likes. We do it for the thumbs up and the algorithms and all the fun. So, all right. So, fantastic crimper. Now I have to go find this crimper. Did you put the link in the chat for the crimper?
I'll find it as we're going. I'll find it.
Okay. because I'm gonna have to buy it. I need to know what I'm getting. So to prep or not to prep. So tonight's topic, we were discussing. I texted Cliff at 4:00 in the morning with this idea, and then we were both busy, and he didn't say he hated it. So this is what we're going with for tonight. Is on diversification, and I think a lot of times in kind of as you get started in preparedness and that sort of thing, you kind of get in on one way of doing things. And there's a lot of conversation about, 2 is 1, 1 is none sort of a thing. But when you're getting started, you kind of don't, like, you're barely getting 1. Now you got to think about 2 and all that sort of stuff. So the importance of diversifying your supplies by type, by use, by function, and all those sorts of things. So I thought maybe we talk about a couple of the things that we have kind of diversified, areas that we have diversified, whether it's things that you would expect, like different water mechanisms and things like that, or fuels or things like that, or if it's something else that we wanted to jump in on and give some ideas and some suggestions for the folks at home who might be looking for that idea. Okay. So would you like to go first, or would you like me to kick it off?
Well, how about you kick it off? So, and then I'll come.
All right. I've also decided we need a coin flipper, so that when we get into this, we can flip coins and figure out who goes first. Okay. So one of the things for me was fuel. So a lot of times when you're thinking about fuel, you're thinking about running a generator, fire, but a lot of times you're kind of you can use similar fuels for different things. So we have, a bunch of propane tanks, and the propane tanks can go in our barbecue if we need to cook food. We can attach the propane tanks to the Mr. Betty heaters or the Mr. Heaters to actually keep us warm. Mm-hmm. There are generators that will run on propane. We don't have one, but you could do that. We can also have a camping stove. We can run off of propane. So we can use propane for cooking or for staying warm. We also have the hot water heater the little portable hot water heater, so we can get hot water if we need to. But then I've also gone and gotten, I got the Solo stove, which is like the little fire pit that's fantastic, and we enjoy it for recreation. But I've also now got the skillet top to it, so if we needed to use it to actually make food, we could use that. So we would have fire for heat, we'd have wood fuel for heat, we'd have wood fuel for cooking with. So we can kind of balance out in an emergency our propane use and our wood use, depending on kind of what's using what the most, or how long we're going to be there. If one thing breaks, if the barbecue breaks, then we can switch to Solo stove, or we can go from the Solo stove back to the barbecue or something like that. So that's one of those things that we have kind of diversified in a couple of different ways to check the boxes.
Yeah. This is a cool topic. There's so I guess in one way, I think it's good to diversify where you store your preps at. So like, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. I'm always worried that, like, what if the house burns down? Would I even have anything? Or what if bad zombies came and burned my house down or something like that? And so I've tried to diversify storage locations for various preps. Like I have a external storage unit that I have. It's kind of like a prepper cache, I guess, a large prepper cache that has some food and water and some other supplies in there, some bug out bags.
It's so nice that you put it at my house.
Yeah,
that was so nice and thoughtful of you.
I think it's a good idea to have like some kind of bin that you could put at family and friends' house that has some additional supplies there too, in case of an emergency type thing. But also, like, I know that with preppers, we're all into the rule of 3. So 3 is like the magical number for preppers, because we talk about the 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, 3 months without Linda Carter photos. And then we have but also, like, you want to have 3. 1 is none. What is it? 2 is 1. 1 is none. 3 is for me, I think is how they say it.
That's interesting. I haven't heard the 3 part at the end.
Yeah,
I've always heard the downer 1, 2 is 1, 1 is none part. Yeah. But the 3 for me, that's a happy way to,
Yeah. So what I've tried to, I like the number 3 for prepping. The number 3 is like the prepping number, I think. But I've tried to oftentimes, like, I think preppers, they go with like, we also like redundancy, but I think it doesn't make sense to have three of the same item. Like it does, like how
Mhm.
you're talking, three of the same stoves, or that's three of the different types of fuel. So
Yeah.
I call it complementary redundancy, where
Hmm.
they should all complement each other in some way. So maybe you could have like kind of how you mentioned, you have your barbecue stove, and then you have something a Coleman that's also powered by the propane, and then you have something else that's small, even smaller than that, could be powered by the propane. But I think you could treat complementary redundancy for almost all aspects of preparedness, whether it be instead of getting three 355-gallon jugs of water, maybe you'll want to have one of those, and then you'll have a way of different ways of purifying it or filtering the water, and having, because one of them's gonna, when you most need it, one of them's just not going to work for you. So you'll still
Yeah.
have backups at that point. So, and then I try to do that with like again, it's kind of nerd stuff, but I try to have everything work within a system. So my EDC should work with my EDC on my person, should work with my EDC bag, which should work with my get home bag or bug out bag. So, but it doesn't make sense to have the same flashlight and eat. Like I don't want the same flashlight in my EDC that I have in my go bag or my work bag as I do in my bug out bag. It makes more sense to have, okay, I'm going to have my EDC flashlight in my EDC backpack. I'm going to have a headlamp. Those complement each other. I can still use the flashlight and the headlamp at the same time. And then maybe for your bug out bag, maybe instead of having another headlight and another flashlight, you might have like a lantern or something like that. So, and I try to do that with whatever it is, prepping wise, to work within a system. And for me, it's groups of three, but trying to adhere to a complementary redundancy. And that, for me, that's how I try to diversify things.
Yeah. Yeah. Three in a category, three different types. Yeah, I like that idea. I think to your point about the redundancy,
Yeah,
um, I try to do. I think I try to do similarly. I think once you've been in this a little bit, you're kind of like, oh yeah, we want to do the other thing. But the flip side to that is that there are certain things that I have exactly the same of and put them multiple places, so I
yeah,
don't have to learn it. So, for example, I have a Leatherman. I think I have the Wingman. Is the one I think that I picked. But
I'll
I
be
have
your
one of
wingman
those.
anytime.
God,
Sorry,
that's
sorry, Top Gun
fantastic.
reference.
I'm
Sorry.
I'm making helmets for our Halloween show. We're
Yeah,
gonna have, what is it? Tup and the Loved One. Yeah, I think
the
we'll
loved
make.
one. Yeah,
But like things like that where I don't want to have to think in the moment of
yeah,
what it is or anything that's different. But I would diversify by putting it in my laptop bag, my EDC pouches, in the car, in the back, like in everywhere.
yeah,
So wherever I am, likely I will have one of those things that has a baseline, and then augment it to the redundancy piece about if, for the car, I have a tool bag. So I have the Leatherman is maybe in the glove box or something, but then in the tool bag, I've got a crowbar, and I've got extra gloves, and I've got a bunch of larger tools that then would complement the Leatherman or something like that. Um,
yeah.
Trying to be a little more being specific about what it is, but then I have the same tool bag in each car for each car, so I don't have to think about what's in the bags, because I know what's in the bags, but I have them in different spots.
That's awesome.
Um,
Yeah, I think, yeah, it doesn't make sense to have like complementary redundancy for certain items, like for, I don't know, ham radios or something. You probably don't want different models in every bag. Oh crap, how do I use this one? Like you probably want the same one. And like I
yeah,
saw someone in the chat room was talking about big lighters. Yeah, I have big lighters everywhere. I don't have complementary lighters or things like that. And I'm no longer a fan of the ferrocerium rods or anything, because yeah, for
which is
urban
very sad
purposes.
because
Yeah,
now we have to return all of them.
yeah, I'm out of
We
the
have
game. I have,
we have
yeah,
so many
it's,
of them.
yeah,
Um, thank you, Pony Girl, for reminding everyone to smash the thumbs up button
smash it.
and the subscribe button. Um, yeah, I think also, so like for water is another one, and I saw somebody mention it in the chat. Water.
Yep.
So to the point about 55-gallon drums, so we've got like our hot water heater, which is, you can use that if it's still standing in an earthquake or whatever. We've got toilet tanks, not the toilet bowls, the tanks where the clean water is. If we needed that, like in an emergency, we could do that.
Yeah.
But then instead of doing the 55-gallon drums, I went and got the 250-gallon or 275-gallon IBC totes, and put those together. So if we're at home, we have a bunch of water. If we need to leave, then we'll take, water bottles, we'll take whatever we need, whatever we can carry. And then the hot tub has been kind of interesting because it would not be water that we would probably drink, obviously, but it might be water that we could use for other things where we wouldn't want to use our drinking water. If we were maybe in a situation where we needed to, clean up or something like that, we could boil and use that water for those sorts of things and not have to use our clean, potable drinking water for food or anything like that. So kind of diversifying the use case of water and then also the storage methods that we would have.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm not as much of a fan of the 55-gallon water drums. Like I don't. I mean, we have one for like gardening from the gutters and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I wonder if preppers that have them like have ever used them, because you can't really move them. Like that's the problem.
Yeah,
unless you're super strong. Like I don't know, but I like the 5-gallon jugs because we actually use them. We could have first in first out rotation with them, so they can get rotated in the system, and they're transportable, so you can load them in the car if you need to. Good luck trying to load that 55-gallon water drum. So.
Yeah, imagine loading up the 275. It was just bad boy. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah, All American Prepper might be able to, but no one else.
Well, yeah, he could totally do that. For the 5-gallon drum, are they like the office the water cooler ones, or are they more square? Because that's one of the things, the shapes of all of these, especially when it comes to water, is really odd and interesting of how they package water, whether it's like round or square, all of that.
I like the round ones personally, but I do have some of the square ones as well, but not for 5 gallons. I have them for the 3 gallons. And they're stackable, but you can only stack up to I forget what the maximum stack level is, but you can't just go indefinitely. The weight will crush the bottom one. But I like the office style round jugs. I think they're and you could probably use them more for bartering too. I think people just kind of recognize them as like water, so and they know they're 5 gallons. So.
Do you have the pump to go on the top of it, or do you have one of like the machine things?
I have the machine, and I have in one of my I have a water module storage case in the garage, and I have a backup it's like a small little stand that it could go on, basically, if you want to have it on your counter.
Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah, I got when I got rid of all of our aquatainers because they were like 7 gallons and super heavy, and I didn't love them. I ended up getting some 3-gallon ones that were round, and then 5-gallon one with the pump, which was an Amazon find, and you screw it on the top because we don't have the dispenser, and you can use that to actually pump the water out. I still have to fill them, which is on the agenda at one of these points. I got the containers. I haven't filled them yet, but so all right, I saw a question, and I feel like it's a good segue into questions. So Pony Girl asks, our number one fan, do either of you have a trailer that a car could pull in case you have to leave with some preps? That's a fantastic question, and thank you for asking it. We'd love to tell you. So I think, unfortunately, the answer is no, but we have talked many times about how cool it would be to get a trailer to have that set up. So I think it's going to be a race between Tup and I to see who's going to get the prepper trailer. And I think it's going to be a race between our wives to see who can stop us the most.
Yeah, I'm working on it. So I think it's an awesome idea. The more I think about it, the more I like it. And so, but first I have to, it's kind of like, I'm going to have a hard time like getting that one through my wife. Hey, I want to get this trailer for my bug out trailer. Like that's not going to fly too easily. So what I didn't even have a trailer hitch on the car. So I'm working on the trailer. I have a trailer hitch on my car. I'm working on the next car for it because you can't really go anywhere without one of those. And I'm using it right now for my bike trailer hitch. But I'm thinking long term. Okay, we'll start off with the bike, and then we could do some other maybe kayak, some kind of trailer for kayaks, and then bring in the bug out trailer. But I think it's a great idea. They have some really nice ones too. We have some friends that have a super fancy one, and it'd be awesome to have all your preps and stuff over there. So I that's a long term vision, I think. Yeah,
I like that you're going to have a train of trailers.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the bikes, and then it's gonna be hooked to the kayaks, and then it's gonna be hooked to the supplies, and you're gonna be just cruising out of Washington with like 4 trailers behind you. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? Yeah, I think for a lot of these kind of things, you have to kind of bundle it in with a normal family activity to have it go through the approval process of the TPS report. So the TPS
Yeah.
cover letter. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so if I could bundle it with like hey, I'd like to use this for family vacations, and then it's a bug out trailer. So that's kind of how I
Yeah.
envisioning it.
Yeah, so I am in a similar boat. I've actually talked in the last 2 years when we go camping, or 3 years when we go camping. We have gotten the trailers. We rent the trailer from Home Depot, which actually is like a perfect size for all the supplies and stuff that we take when we go camping. It's wonderful. The car pulls it great and all that sort of stuff. So I've actually looked at getting those trailers to have. The problem we have right now is we don't have any place to put it. I don't have a place to store it, or at least I don't have a place to store it safely in an economic way.
Well, I'd be worried about people stealing it too. But
yeah, but like we could put there's a lot of like RV storage and self storage and some of that sort of thing that are reasonably close by that we could utilize, but we have to pay monthly, and by the time you've paid monthly for the trailer, you could basically pay to rent the trailer. So you doesn't really financially make a big advantage yet, but I'm hoping in the next year or two, we will figure out either through some friends that have land or something, some spot that we could get to put the trailer. And as soon as we get that, then I feel like it will be a matter of time before we can buy it. I think the other question too will be if we do more of like a storage trailer, that would be empty. But then as I think about that, I'm like, but all the stuff that we're putting into it, like they make trailers that actually have all that stuff in them. And so then it would be like, okay, do we get more of like a travel trailer? Do we get not like an RV, but like a tow behind sort of smaller thing with a little bit of like a kitchen and a bathroom and some of that sort of stuff. So we don't have to carry all that with.
Yeah, and I saw Stage had a comment there with regard to, but I think we should definitely say the bug eating is preferred because
yes,
it sucked to bug out, especially with kids. Like, I mean, eventually you're gonna run out of food in your bags, and then what? So I think bug out is just, there's only a few scenarios that I'd want to bug out, and most of those scenarios I might just bug out to the front lawn, like bug out to a motel or something. It wouldn't be like Mad Max style, but but you never know.
Yeah, I've often thought about it, especially like, okay, if there was an earthquake sort of a situation, which is I think our primary focus when it comes to that sort of thing, we would probably stay bugged in for a little while because the roads would not be passable. Like we would need to wait to probably be evacuated out. But like with the wildfires, especially like in Oregon,
you want to get
that's been a thing that's come up really, it's always been in California and now it's happening in Oregon a lot more where, and especially by the cities, which has been really weird, that people have needed to literally evacuate their homes while there might be a fire going on. And in that case, roads would be passable and fine. But you wouldn't have a whole lot of time to pack up and, likely you would go somewhere with a hotel or something to stay, but you might not. So having all of your stuff ready to go would just be a lot easier and give you some more flexibility and options.
Yeah. That's I saw that Sutton Stays at my age. Sutton Stays just had like her 23rd birthday, I thought, a couple weeks ago. So I don't know what she's talking about there. But
yeah, exactly. Could she legally drink yet? Can she come to the parties?
Sure. I don't know. Well, the ID checker. So that's one of the reasons why I have in my garage, I have the modules that are stored and they're color coordinated because the long-term vision of being able to transporting them if you had to really bug out. So I think bugging out to Bend would be awesome because Bend is awesome. So although they have their wild, I'm going to be going down to Bend this summer, I think in July. So if anyone's there, let's get together. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. I think we're planning on being there in August, but we always could drive over and say hi.
Yeah, we're going to have you readjust. We're going to have you readjust your schedule and come in July.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I can make that happen.
Cool. And Bernie too. Bernie should come too. So.
Yeah, Bernie should also come with his trailer that he's bragging about because we don't have trailers.
Bernie are like
Bernie wants everyone to know that he has a trailer and we don't. And Bernie, we know you're better than us. You're better than us.
He also has go-karts too. Like he can
exactly
bug out go-karts. So.
I'm glad we're friends with Bernie.
You and Bernie are are like the leaders of the Portland branch of preparedness. So
Exactly. We try to hold down the southern Northwest.
yeah,
You're in charge of the northern Northwest.
yeah, I'm trying to hold this down as best I can. So
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. All right. Well, I think
is there any other
looking at the
questions?
clock.
Let's see. Man, there's a lot of cool stuff coming in the chat room. That's awesome.
Exactly. We've got quite the. I didn't even
I
look.
saw
We got
one by
almost 50 people in here now.
Damien, Cliff, what are the extra car supplies to have on hand just in case none are available? Funny you mentioned that. I'm actually working on a video of that. It's all filmed and I just have to assemble it and it's ready to go. But it talks about like, because I've been worried about, supply chain things. That, hey, what if I can't get to I can't do certain things like repairs on my car. Like I think it's good to have like preps in your car, like a go bag and food and water and stuff like that. But I also think it's good to have some backup repair type items. Like what if we couldn't get a new oil filter for like 2 years? What would we do? So I think we should have some of those preps. So working on a video on that. So Damien, stay tuned.
That's a really interesting idea. You bring up great ideas. Now I have to go get oil filters and everything.
Well, you gotta.
What I've learned is, and everyone who's watching this, I think feels similarly. We watch these things, and then we think of all of the things we need to go get. Like
I get worried. Like
a
lot of
expensive before we have our episodes.
Yeah, it's like I'm always like like if I go to AutoZone or something like that, I'm like, oh man, what if I couldn't go here? What would I do? And then I try to let me say it online that I'm doing a video of it. Then it forces me to do it. Then I do it, and then it gives me peace of mind for a couple seconds, and then it's on to the next thing that I'm worried about. But I think prepping's all about getting little pieces of mind here or there for all these different things that you're doing, and it never stops, and you're never at peace. But
yeah, there is no finish line.
There is no finish line, but hopefully, if you were to really look back and take a retrospective, you could say, "Oh wow, I did some stuff." So
there are often times where I look back and I'm like, "Holy cow, how did this happen in our garage? Like, how did all of these things show up? Where did all of this come from?"
Yeah, there's a fine line between prepping and hoarding, that's for sure. So
that is true, which is, I think, that's another interesting topic. The fine line between prepping and hoarding.
Yeah,
Do you have a personal definition of the difference between prepping and hoarding? I'm curious if we have similar definitions. And if you have one,
I was actually working on a video on this, and I had it all ready to go. I filmed it. I had it all written, my narrative, and then like Canadian Prepper came out with the prepping versus hoarding. I'm like, oh crap, I'm doing it now. So I totally scrunched it up, and it's done. So that was just a couple months ago. I was so pissed off. Yeah, for me, like. One of the key differences is that hoarders don't. I mean, first off, like hoarders is like it's like a medical condition. Like it's really sad actually. Like because they like stack like newspapers and magazines that they don't need, and they don't want to give them away. Like I think preppers, like we're into bartering and stuff. Like we're sometimes the stuff that we might prep or we're hey, let's do some trading, let's do some bartering. So I think that's one key difference. I think the other one is like. I think that we have more of a well-rounded set of things that we're stockpiled that we're building up. So it's not like with hoarding. Sometimes they're like, there's some horrible shows like that show Hoarders, like where they were bagging up, deuces that they didn't want to pay their sewer bill anymore. So they're just bagging it up and throwing it in the shower, and it just stacks up over time. Preppers don't really do it. It was horrible. It's disgusting, but they do stuff, or they're like, I want like 300 jars of honey, and you could still use it, but they never do it. So I think like hoarders are doing it. They don't want to really give it away. It's important to them. But I think preppers, we plan on using it as part of a system. We're into bartering, and it's So it's I'd like to think it's a little more productive, but.
Yeah, I think there is kind of
we're not prepping like trash and stuff like that. And that's what a key difference I think.
You don't do that for your burn pile? I have all of my trash, and I just keep it downstairs in plastic bags to throw in the. No, I think the interesting thing is I think words like prepper and words like hoarder have kind of come into the lexicon. They had an initial meaning, and they have kind of become more than that. They've kind of encapsulated more than just the individual thing. And so I think from a hoarding perspective, there is a mental illness component with hoarding.
Yeah.
I think there's also people who just want to have a lot of stuff. I think the people that when a couple years ago, when you couldn't find hand sanitizer, were, if they could find a pallet, they bought everything that was on the shelf. They just didn't care. Or they bought all the toilet paper and they just didn't care. And I think for preppers, I think prepper has that thing where, okay, are you somebody who's living in the woods with the camo and the freedom seeds, as they call it, and all of those sorts of things? Or are you somebody who is just thinking about getting ready and preparedness, sort of an idea, the doomsday prepping versus like the non-preppers, as it were, in my world? I think for me, it comes down to kind of intention and use case of, if you like hand sanitizer, I bought a couple of big bottles of hand sanitizer when I could find it, because we knew that we were going to use it. And I wasn't sure if I could find it, but I also didn't buy everything on the shelf. And I didn't buy so much of it that it would go bad. Like if you mapped it out and you said, this expires in a month, there's no way that we would go through 58 gallons of hand sanitizer in a month. Now you're just taking it away from people who could use it simply to have it. And so that for me has always been kind of the defining line is, okay, are you going to use it? Do you have a plan for it? Or, to your point about there's a system and it's, how is it? Or are you just having it simply to have it?
And I think a lot of, like, when people were getting all the toilet paper and hand sanitizer, I think that they're looking at flipping a profit on it, like buying all the N95 masks. Oh, okay, now I'm going on eBay and I'll sell each N95 mask for $5 or so, or $10 or 20 or whatever it was. That's I don't even think that's really hoarding. That's just like being like a
which I think there's.
I had to edit my words for a second. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think there's also kind of you get into this kind of moral, ethical conversation debate and some of these that are a little bit gray areas and that sort of thing. I feel like it's similar to like when you go on Facebook Marketplace and like people are looking at like collectibles, for example, like Legos. There are times where if something's sold out and you've got one, okay, you might put it up and you might put it for an extra $10 or an extra $20 to cover your time and that sort of thing. And then there are the people that put it for 3 times retail, like the PlayStation 5s and stuff, where it's just, you're just throwing it out there and raising the prices for no particular reason. Is that capitalism or is it taking advantage of people? I don't know.
Put it, they're opportunist. I think that's that's what they're doing.
There was another question in here on favorite prepper fiction book.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Sorry, I saw Gary's comment too. Cliff's a hoarder, and his wife told us. Yeah, that's true. She's always complaining about my office and so calls me a hoarder. No, I'm gonna go with. I think Bernie said the same thing. Cascadia Fallen, like get the series. It's by Austin Chambers. He lives within an hour of me. I've been to his house a few times, and it's an awesome book about. Especially if you're in the Northwest, it makes you think about like the Cascadia subduction zone and Mount Rainier eruption. And there's a lot of prepping aspects in it. And there's a lot of like, they're using life straws and they're doing a lot of this. They have certain mountain house and other things in there. I think it's really cool. Especially the first book. It goes into a lot of those kind of prepping details. So Gary made me laugh on that.
I sadly am not a huge fiction book reader. I enjoy the comic books, so there are some comic book stories that I could go into that are, hey, you need Infinity War and all those sorts of things. But I tend to be more of a nonfiction person, which has been hilarious as our kids have learned how to read and stuff, where they want to do the Harry Potters and stuff, but then they also want to know why dad's reading like how-to manuals and that sort of thing. So I don't have a favorite prepper fiction book because sadly my world is devoid of fiction. It is a sad world of existence in which I live. I only deal in absolutes and facts or fake news. That's all I do. That's all it is.
In the last few weeks, we've had some downer type moments in the stream, and I thought this was going to be a pure stream of happiness, and we're bringing it down. I don't watch.
Okay,
fish.
Doomer. Okay, Doomer.
Someone in the Think Preparedness, someone called the Doom Zoom. I thought that was hilarious.
Doom Zoom.
The Doom Zoom. That's what they call.
You have to get shirts. You have to get shirts for that.
I thought they would never call us the Doom Zoom. I don't think, but they.
No. They would not. They call us many other things, but not them. Which, by the way, you can tell that there's a lot of geopolitical things going on because our normal friendly Russian trolls are not in.
They're not here. No, they're busy.
They're not here. They've apparently got other things to do today.
I've been wanting to get some Russian MREs and also Korean MREs, but then I hear because I like what are they? Piroshkis? I think that's what it's called. They're awesome, and I know they come in MREs. And then the same with there's some kind of some cool Korean, South Korean type MREs too. So
you're doing like a bibimbap or like a.
I just want a little variety. So we have like mac and cheese and spaghetti and all those things. I want piroshkis and I want.
Cliff is a continental. He wants
intercontinental MREs.
Yeah, exactly. He's not just. He's very cosmopolitan. He's a jet setter when it comes to freeze dried meals ready to eat. Like that's a thing for him.
Yeah. I don't know why I mentioned that, but I was just thinking about it. So
that's fantastic. Well, there was a comment about MREs.
Yeah. Okay. That's maybe that it kind of triggers.
Yeah. They had MREs and other rations. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. All right. Well, I feel like not only have we done our usual. We've been up, we've been down, we've been on the rails, we've been off the rails, we've been all over the place.
I think we were inspired because Sutton's Days was in the audience, and then all like our number one fans, Kim and Pony Girl.
Exactly. We've had
here.
quite the party tonight.
Yeah, it's been a party. So
this is fantastic. Hopefully everyone will come back again next week.
Yeah.
And see us at our time next week. Where we will have some topic
on
that
the
I will come
Zoom, on the Doom Zoom.
Doom Zoom. Brought to you by whatever idea I come up with at 4:00 in the morning. It's just we have the best. It is the number one rated podcast for all non-preppers and urban preppers. I feel like that's just a fact. Number one with a bullet. Anyway,
same time, Gary. Same time.
Same time. 5:30, unless we change.
Unless I have a meeting, unless something.
Exactly, and then
we'll switch to Friday or whenever we can. So.
Exactly. Subscribe to all the channels, or subscribe if you're concerned about it in advance. Usually, I put up the event, the little. In Restream, I put the little stream appointment in, and it'll populate on all of my stuff first, and then usually Cliff will connect his channel to it.
I think we're gonna do some special shows like on the main Urban Prepper channel, because I've been told by these smart people that you can't do as many live streams as what you're doing. So, but I think we're planning on doing some special broadcast on there too.
Exactly. Stay tuned.
We'll get some more of the Russian bots will come over. So.
Yeah, exactly. We might have giveaways on that one. I have some little things I've been holding on to that we might do with some giveaways when we get on the big show. Yeah. The big stage.
Yeah. And
the main channel.
I get all this like, well, it's messing with your analytics and all blah 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 blah, but
yeah, you got 200,000 subscribers. How bad could the analytics be?
I don't know.
Like I'm just saying.
For me, like all these video, like I'm a prepper first and a YouTuber second. So like I'm doing this because I'm trying to prep and I'm trying to organize my pantry. I'm trying to get more MREs. I'm trying to do I'm not doing these like to make videos to be to make money. Like I got my day job for that. But for me, it's more of a creative outlet, and so that's why you'll see me one day doing a tsunami survival kit, the next day doing something on CPAS, the next day talking about Terry Silver from Cobra Kai, and then maybe a bug out bag. So it's just kind of for me, that's just how I kind of approach it. But it's probably not the best business sense.
That's all right, because I spend literally all day doing marketing analytics and social media and all of that. So I am in the algorithm all day, every day. So it's for me, it's the creativity of actually building the content that normally I'm just analyzing on behalf of whatever brand is
But
happening.
I feel like all these videos they're part of our portfolio as preppers.
Yeah.
I'd do the videos whether we made any millions of dollars like what we do or not. So
we make dozens of cents.
We make dozens of dollars.
That's but speaking of, okay, this is so off topic, but I'm gonna do that.
Right,
okay, wrestling. So you enjoy, and yes, Sutton's Days for the love of prepping.
For the love of prepping.
That you know what, Sutton's Days, that should be a shirt you make. You should make for the love of prepping.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of the AEW stuff with Danhausen?
Not with Danhausen, but I like AEW. I think that they're more like the kind of wrestling that I like. Like I like the Attitude Era from. I don't even like calling it WWE. I stopped watching. Like the primetime wrestling stuff when they changed the name to WWE because then they're acknowledging it's entertainment, and I know that
exactly.
The World Wildlife Foundation messed that up for us, but I like Attitude Era, old school wrestling. But
you want to know that the chair shots were real. That's what you want to know.
You want to believe a little bit of it because it's an escape, and But AEW feels more like old school wrestling to me, and I like it. So
Danhausen was doing an interview with Renee Paquette, Renee Young for anyone who is in the thing, and they were talking about him on the indie circuit, and they were like, how did you do? And he's like, I've made dozens of dollars on the indie circuit, and was talking about how much money do you want? I would like to make $1,000. That's what I would need. So for those of you who do not follow professional wrestling, he is a bit of a character, and I have recently become aware of his character, and I find his mannerisms and thing to be quite amusing, specifically his dozens of dollars.
I have a friend that he's a bass player, and I'm the best bass player in my price range. Is what he would say. So I literally make tens, if not hundreds of dollars. Like you would say it like that.
I make many singles.
I make tens of dollars.
Have I ever told you about how Roddy Piper knocked out a Wish Kids child in my living room when I was like 7 years old?
That is awesome. I love Roddy Piper.
So my dad was I don't know if he was the president or something of the Make-A-Wish chapter in Oregon, and one of the wishes the kid wanted to meet Roddy Piper, and so Roddy Piper comes out to our house in like a stretch limousine, and I've never seen a stretch limousine. He comes in, he's meeting the kid and everything, and we had some food and stuff, and the kid's dad keeps giving Roddy Piper a hard time about how, well, isn't wrestling fake, and isn't it fake, and it's so fake, and all these sorts of things. And Roddy Piper said, okay, you think it's fake? Come over here. And he calls him over to the spot. I can still see the spot in our family room, and he puts him in a sleeper hold and knocks him out. And so,
wow.
So we have a kid who I think he had leukemia or something. Like, he was going through some heavy treatment or whatever. And his dad has just been knocked out by his dream legend, Roddy Piper. And then Roddy Piper was just as if it was nothing. Was just
they call that protecting the business is what
exactly. And so dad's just passed out on the floor.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then we got to go sit in Roddy Piper's limousine in our driveway, which was kind of fun.
He's fun. Yeah, he had he loved being a heel and had like no fear, and we should talk more about wrestling. We should have a wrestling
exactly. What we need? We need to have a wrestling stream. We'll do a wrestling podcast and we'll do a Prepper podcast.
I'll wear my Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt. So
I think that's fantastic. I'll get the Macho Man glasses and we'll make it happen.
The Apex Prepper says I'm the best prepper in my price range. I like that.
Okay, do you want to make that shirt or do you want me to make that shirt?
You're Mr. Shirt. So
okay, I'll make the shirt. I'm the best prepper in my price range. That's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate that you've stuck with us, that you've joined us, that you subscribed, that you've hit the like button, that you've enjoyed the ride, whether we were on the rails or off, which, usually in our podcast is 50-50. If you do your beard with that would be.
I'm going 80s style on my beard.
Do we need to grow it out next winter, and then we do like the glitter beard?
This is about the best as I can get. I have horrible. I have like a Osama bin Laden type beard. It doesn't look good. It's not like a clean looking beard. So this is. I
feel like if that's what you think his beard looked like, we really need to get you some different photos to reference. I don't think that was.
Yeah, it's just kind of ugly looking.
I feel like it looks similar to mine. I don't feel like it looks like, that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, Doomers. Thanks a lot.
All right,
We'll
okay,
see y'all
on the
later
Doom
next
Zoom.
week.
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. On the Doom Zoom.